Greens. Okay. Another episode of Turning the Tables. The truth hurts. What does it hurt me? I'm fine with it. Maybe hurting other people though, but it's just the deal. Open those eyes. That's hard to do. So Frankenstein Timeline. So I just heard that term. Frankenstein's like, yeah, that's kind of like what we're in right now. That's not necessarily a negative, but yeah, anything can go. That's for sure. This coming month, year, definitely an energy shakeup. Not necessarily a bad thing. Just enjoy the ride. Of course, the political thing is just a TV show for people that have either to just whatever they have to go through. I don't know, man. It's not anything. Interesting though, yeah. I think I mentioned this yesterday about Trump being a king or something like that, which I kind of find interesting. It had, like, I did see that timeline as a possibility. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it's funny how it's weird. But it made a headline. I've mentioned it a while back. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but who knows? God, anything can go with that. That's not what this is about, though. I don't care about that crap. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. So what? It's just, I guess it's just like, was it water cooler conversation? Is that what that is? Because they're going to do whatever they're going to do, so it doesn't really matter. I guess the spiritual community has a lot of warning to go with that, but some people are just so pulled into that stuff. It's just whatever. Yeah, it is like trickster frequency, no doubt about it. Divide. It's doing a good job with that. So Frankenstein Timeline is not making itself completely clear of where it's going, what's just different. Of course, this is a spiritual war. Some might not look at it that way, but then again, look at society and nothing's ever really changing. Same old, over positivity. And then nothing really is changing. They're just, over positive groups are more like cult leader or alien religion energies. And yeah, you can't beat religion, even if it is an alien religion. It's just, damn. And they're huge out there, golly. And they know everything. So, and here I'm being shadow banned like a bastard, probably for good reason. Probably for the best. Just make more people mad. Yeah, I kind of accepted it in the past and just, right now I don't really care. I mean, I didn't care back then either, but whatever. It's a bad movie. So, and also Spirit World, No Surrender, Crack in the Universe. So yeah, this obviously there's this, that goes more into the spiritual warfare energies that's happening. Elohim frequencies, you can take whoever you want. Of course, some are so addicted to the secret space program, which some of that might be. That's another program. Some can't receive the release. But yeah, this is a spiritual war on so many different levels. There is like an energy split of, those who are here to evolve and those that are thinking that they're evolving and not evolving at all. Just think they are, because, there's a lot of that happening, that's for sure. But yeah, usually when you're moving forward, it's not so easy, though. Of course, whatever. Yeah, you get shadow banned all the time. So the crack in the universe has to go through. The universe keeps doing the same thing over and over again, because I don't think the universe even knows what the hell it's doing half the time. Yeah, it's like you choose your own adventure. But there, it's like the future is not ever really set. It can be changed. Obviously, that's why it's hard to see it completely. It depends on what it is, of course, because it's our action, even if it's energetic action. So nothing's really, there's obviously going to be those that are just, complacent into whatever this place is offering. But if you're here to evolve, you'll evolve somehow. It's just never easy. It's almost like evolving is, as some might already know what this feels like, splitting off from the collective, basically. Like you think you're already alone, and you get more alone. Because you're disconnecting from all the mind control that's going on, especially in the spiritual community. I'm not going to go into all that. But you feel more connected to yourself. But you just feel all the MK Ultra stuff that's going on. I mean, there's a spiritual teacher out there. I feel like he's been MK Ultra like 20, 30 times. Complete zombie, huge following. It's like, is everyone checked out there? That could be. It's definitely NPC energies there, that's for sure. But it could be maybe half the audience, or just maybe the audience isn't even there. So it's all inflated somehow. So yeah. So anyway, you can probably take that to different levels. So yeah, it's all just a movie here, and just, obviously there's entities here to hold you back, and just to talk about stuff that obviously people here don't want to hear about, but it's just the way it is. I mean, it's just how it works. It's the truth is gritty. The lower dimensional realms obviously are trying to, they call it tricksters for a reason, and they're doing a hell of a job on this planet. So when you call them out, it's harder for them to get away with it. So at least their actions. It has to be on an individual basis, to mention somebody's name or anything like that. Just them in general. Yeah, because I'm not sure if that does anything, but at least how they're doing things. And that's the political stuff, big time. But those that are the political stuff is just those that are at a low frequency. They're dimensional lovers, physical lovers. It's like a what do you call it? Like a roller coaster ride. Something to bitch about, whatever. Just kind of complain about. Gives them reason to exist. You'd be surprised. But those are obsessed with it. Let's put it that way. So whatever, and that's, some of them have been politics and politicians in their past and all that. So obviously they're doing their thing, right? So I'm gonna have to go into all that. I'm just using that for example. That's like the cesspool part of the world. That's really where you don't evolve. Well, I guess you do to some level when you're screwing people over. So I'm talking comment private sessions. Sessions. Yeah, think about other things. So there's a shop here. So we're going kind of like a paradox unknown. I mean, things will work itself out however it needs to, but it's also like cutting cords. I mean, if you're to evolve, cutting cords, just evolving out of the collective mind control into the stratosphere of who the hell knows where that is. So that's why I'm going into that. So the Frankenstein timeline. Obviously, the future is not always. It's not always not. People want to predict it and all that, but it's not always. Does it need to be predicted? Is it all that important? Really, it's just really about how you make it through all of this. Really, what's really matters. Because the future doesn't really, it's going to keep spooning us whatever they're going to throw at us. And but if you're to evolve, you break out of the collective and create. You connect to yourself more independently. It doesn't mean you can't have friends or anything. You just obviously need to shift your energy a little bit different than everybody else, just the way it is. Not giving into their politics or their life politics, is like drama and all that stuff and so on. It doesn't make you better than anyone. It's just that you don't need to be part of that experience anymore. Let's put it that way. All right, so we're going to Frankenstein timeline and then spirit war that's going on, and just universe energies in general, whatever that has to emphasize on. So, okay, all right, here we go. Blessings. Greetings. We are the Astral Realms, or higher dimensional realms of your world describe it as difficult. I've learned the sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth dimension energies. It's basically you're not giving in to the mind traps that are here. You're connecting more to yourself and not giving into all these programs, as they call it. You can call them whatever you want, if you want to. Those that need it, or they feel safer, or they're just not, they can't pull themselves out of the drama here of this reality. So those of you that are here to evolve, away from all of the drama here, or all just the manipulations, obviously going to feel some of it just the way it is. But basically, eventually you get to a level where you feel like you're obviously making some kind of change here energetically. You actually feel it connecting to the collective, because sometimes you have to incarnate here and feel the, experience humanity, like be a passenger and just absorb everything. Well, as for knowledge purposes, doesn't mean you have to become part of it, but you just have to know how this world works, and then you break out, and then your changes can actually move the time. You might actually feel yourself moving the timeline along and actually affecting it. Like truly, I mean, you might feel it on some level already, but there's a larger level out there also. Basically, like giving spiritual developments that you would like for others to, well, maybe like your own belief systems, on a level that's not controlling or anything, that's there to help others. And that, might not be the most popular belief systems, because so many are plugged into so many agendas. But you're giving a new way of life, basically. I think some of you understand. Basically, just like how you see the thing, like wish others can see it that way, so not to be so controlled or programmed by all of this. The political energies, or just use that for example. It is for those. It's a school, basically. Everything's a school. That's it, and then you evolve out of it eventually, and you kick it to the curb or whatever it is. But there is always something to learn. Everyone doesn't mean you have to be part of it. And there's nothing wrong with. I mean, you have to do what you have to do. Some get pulled into it. Well, some do it for. What just use the political stuff, for example, just because it's popular, and it would be popular with others. Spirituality can be popular. So what is said that's popular with their spirituality, that you might not feel like it really, but you say those words, it becomes popular. But do you really, are you part of it? Is there any, I mean, at first it might feel right. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you start seeing what it really is, not to go into details of that, because that'll probably make some people mad, but you kind of just pull away from some of these common spiritual beliefs. And yes, it goes unpopular. Well, the unpopular is really what people aren't able to tap into, because you're kind of reinventing it. You're building, it's just it's not, these things are not really spoken about usually. It's basically no agendas, not here to control others. Help. Well, the thing is, when you go through your process, you'll see there is a free will frequency here. It might not be the strongest, but somewhere, you'd be surprised how many do not want to evolve, because they want to be around, once again, those that are popular. It's like they feel like they're evolving, but they want to have all these friends or whatever it is. Sometimes they don't also evolve because of the family reasons. Sometimes, like you just stay at their level. It doesn't mean that you're lowering yourself or anything. It's just that you need to be at a certain level for that experience, for them to understand you and so on. So it doesn't mean that you're going backwards. You feel like you're evolving, but you have to be at a certain level. That doesn't mean that you're going backwards. If you're manipulating hell out of everyone, that's just going to come back to you in some form. It's all seen. The universe sees everything. So it sees all of it. It sees unbiased, but it does see it all. So those of you that see things that should not be, for questionable situations, The universe is definitely aware of it. It's warning too. The universe does not have all the answers. It has a lot of guilty pleasures. Well, it has a lot to learn. Let's put it that way. Some of you will see more of that. The collective is just learning as much as you are. Well, if you evolve beyond all these programs, basically you create like a new way of looking at reality, basically, but not to control others. Obviously, somebody might take your ideas and control others. They're just not. Just the way it is here. But either way, it would be kind of vague about a lot of this because it is a very general. But I think some of you on an individual level, just look at your own belief systems and we're just kind of leaving it at that level. But this timeline, yes, is out of control. Yes. It is a Rubik's Cube. It is ever so changing, yes. But also guides move people to certain places because they know they can't handle what's truly going on here. Like you're safer in this group. Yes, it sounds strange though, but it's like in those groups it might not be the best frequency, but like as some of you are, like I say, evolving. Not to say you're judging anything, but there's a lot of stuff out there in this universe that some of you are aware of that just your average spiritual person probably can't handle. It just gets weird out there. The astral is a wild west more than this place. Doesn't mean you have to go govern it or tell it what to do. No, that won't get you anywhere. Yeah, it's actually more intense than it is here. You get a small fractal of what's going on there. It's because you have to have insanity to create a place like this or anything, but there has to be a level of crazy somewhere, and a lot of it's there. And some of you have seen it. Tricks, different types of trickster frequency. It's not all of the negative nature, of course. It's just even your more positive people are crazy or positive entities. Some of them are just out of their minds, just the way it is. And some of you are seeing levels of it. But once again, this is all schooled to go to a level. Basically, it's the idea really comes down to it of just like if you had the best intentions or whatever intentions, but the idea is for what you're picking up on for the collective on the planet itself to learn of what you've learned, basically. Not necessarily to know about yourself, but what you've figured out here. It'd be nice the rest of the world figures it out too. Let's put it that way. And we're keeping it very general on that level. So, green sea, the universe, consciousness. The universe is actually learning from you at what level where you want to go. Some might not always agree with that, but you'd be surprised. The universe does pull back a lot on every world. Every world's different, of course, but your world, as you know, there's a collective consciousness here, and the universe does deliver, even if you don't always feel like it does. Well, because like you want it one way, but you're like one or two people, or three or four, and the rest of the consciousness is a bigger number. But sometimes you just have to wait your turn for the universe, for this planet, to hear your what you have to say or your viewpoints or whatever it might be. It's kind of like waiting in line, and that's very frustrating because you feel like you're not being heard, and there might be some truth there. You're heard, but maybe not by the collective itself. You feel like just like of course, you're always still learning about like what you're figuring out here spiritually about yourself, whatever it might be. There's always a warning process, but then there's a process also basically where the planet itself will hear, or you'll feel the effects of what you're doing here on the long term. Like it's like the ripples of the timeline, the wave. You'll just feel like you're bringing some adjustment here. So the universe itself is neutral sometimes. It does not know where things go either. Yes, there are timelines where it sees it, but really, it is a warning from you. It's like you incarnate here, yes, you might have a certain goal to get to, but you have to go through all these lessons to get there. For you to like, you have to, you can call it earn it, or to, it's like when your goal, you have to kind of be strong enough to get there, to handle it. If you're to build a house, you have to kind of like go through all the teachings of it, right? You have to go through all the schooling of it. Of course, here it's not as always clear. It's like, there's something here you can share with the world or whatever it might be, but you have to go through the challenges. You have to know how people are, or whatever you need to learn here. Some individuals are placed here to move the timeline for whatever reason. It's just that you wonder why they get attention, others don't. Well, some of them have been working a long time. The collective here wants to hear from them uh, on a massive level. And it could be completely wrong. It doesn't really matter. It could be the most backward information ever. It could be the most backward anything. You see that with their celebrity groups. uh, this isn't much help, but like Britney Spears, I'm going to bring that. It's like a call for help. But also show how other females, what they're going through on different levels. It's like a avatar of, not all of them, but some are going through it. So someone like that, why is that person getting attention? Well, there's the collective. There's a lot going. There's quite a few. They're just using the singing energy to get kind of attention, but on a personal level, there's a lot of similarities to those who are going through these situations. It actually helps them get through it. Do you want to go through that level and go through a complete meltdown, destruction, or you want to better yourself? Nobody's ever perfect. It's good to have an edgy part of your incarnation. It's good to have that. It is kind of shark infested waters. It's good to have that. Obviously there's a line there that you don't want to cross. There's always a line, hopefully. But there's nothing wrong with living a life of just danger, you can say. But then there's a line of, okay, there's only so far you want to go with that. And just a good example of, this is an easy understanding of why certain things are here in the collective. I'm going to go into all the details. The Oprah energy, that shows, yes, the elitist frequency, not as powerful as you might think. At the time, it made sense. Not anymore. It's kind of old-fashioned frequency. Oprah that was on television. At the time, it made sense, but now it's kind of, that energy is kind of, people are evolving from that frequency. It did teach a lot about self-character, figuring ones out, bringing your problems to actually share it with others, to heal it so you can move forward. Take your wounds and find some healing, not keep it within yourself and look for help or whatever. So there is good frequencies there, even if there is some manipulation going on there, that individual. So it has to get, once again, attention. Your political frequencies, that's like a cat and mouse game. That's like you think it's going to go this way, then it turns. It's like it really kind of shifts society. Is it there to make humanity mad? It's a political war. It's like the Roman times, really. It's kind of like just the wealthy backlash. It's just in a modern era written out, and it's just things have not changed here. The Greeks went through this too to some level. They just seen a modern version of corruption, basically, on a large scale. It's almost Shakespearean to some level. You need to be part of it. No. Not everyone can handle what's here, as you can see. Some of you are disconnecting from all of this timeline and just want to evolve into the astral plane, basically to bring more just higher dimensional knowledge all together, which is nothing wrong. Obviously, the world is going to fight you on that one because but it doesn't mean to stop being yourself. No, it's like you're unprogramming the program. Yeah, it's like bringing energies for this world to be less violent, basically. Well, to be more intuitive. Doesn't mean it's going to be. If more people are more intuitive, it doesn't mean your war is over. It's just a different type of experience. When more humans are accepting their abilities, which they are not, some are. I mean, some of you are obviously don't want to share it for good reason because society is so afraid of it. Society is actually afraid of itself. Even if it does use its ability, it's afraid to like mention it. It just it's like buried within. It has to do with the mentality here, especially the religions. Religions obviously took metaphysical knowledge and buried it, practically burned it. Your Catholic religion, things similar. Not all of them. Arabic religions actually helps you connect more to your power, but then there's like you have this power, but what do you do with it? It's not always used well. It's almost weaponized to some level. It's not all powerful. There's some power there, as some of you have seen, especially with manifestation energies. Yeah, it's like you might be able to manifest all these things, but it's like then you find out that you haven't really evolved all that much either. It's like, yeah, you might be able to bring in wealth, but you might feel hollow at the same time. That can go for anybody for that matter. So it's basically you're going more into how this world is formed is what you're here to. Some of you are here to see. Some of you already feel like you already know everything, but there's different ways of looking at reality. Well, there's different versions that you feel comfortable with. There's always another story here. There's always more to tell. Yes, it is insane. This was a radical world that was made on purpose. I guess you could trick the soul to challenge it, to truly challenge, to see what you're really made out of. But you bring another side of yourself out so you can heal it. So if it's a dark side, light, whatever it is, you can heal it. Like it's another way of pulling it out of you. So some people get triggered very easily. You trigger that energy if you're willing to heal it. Some are not. So you help release it. Exactly. But there's probably better ways of wording it. Some word is so general. The thing is, when you start seeing more, the idea is to see what the spirit realms see. Yes, you might see too much, maybe not to that level, but you are going to a level where you see more. That's just kind of like the curse of the spirit realms. Yes, they see everything. And here in the physical realm, you get to some level where you see more than you might want to see on all levels. We'll just leave you with that.